Cameron's family says he was everything you could ask for in a little boy. He was happy-go-lucky, loved by everyone who met him. As the one-year anniversary of his death approaches, his grandmother relives the day his life was cut short.
I remember where I went after work. I remember coming home late because I needed to replace my shoes. I remember stopping at Tim Hortons and grabbing his Timbits because it was Timbit treat day for him. I remember pulling up in the driveway. I remember walking in the house. I remember dropping everything and going outside to call him. I remember looking over and seeing him hanging from the fence.
Cameron died after being mauled by 2 dogs which were kept inside a pen. The coroner's office investigated and found that Cameron reached through an opening in the fence and was pulled further in by one of the 2 dogs. His death was ruled an accident. Last fall, the coroner recommended changes to prevent future tragedies. It asked the province to review all its laws around dangerous dogs and recommends all municipalities, both urban and rural, have procedures when it comes to dealing with dangerous canines. The coroner writes, quote, "One must be cautious to ensure that bylaws are not restrictive to breeds of dogs, but rather focus on the dangers of dog predation when bylaws are reviewed." Fatal dog attacks are rare in Saskatchewan, but they do happen. In 2007, a 5-year-old boy was mauled to death in the northern village of Cumberland House. A pair of husky crosses killed a 3-year-old girl on Mosquito First Nation a few years later. There's more reports of dog attacks here in Regina. Bill Thorne speaks for the Regina Humane Society. He says in a perfect world, every community would have rules when it comes to dealing with dangerous dogs. But the fact is, not all do. He says declaring a dog to be dangerous is a daunting process, something most people don't understand. First, an incident must be investigated. Then there is a hearing, and it's ultimately up to a court to decide what happens to the animal. Now, Cameron's grandmother had no idea any changes were recommended in the wake of her grandson's death. She doesn't believe these reviews will help much because safety is a parent's responsibility, and an attack isn't a dog's fault. Now, in the case of Cameron, she says someone was at home with him that day, but Cameron had been let out of their sight. Stephanie Taylor, CBC News, Regina.